Oh, it's happening. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody is well. It's a weird news day today. But guys, here's the deal. What's up, Karen? You're first. Congratulations on being first. Party. I'm a little later today. I'm pushing it close to 10. What's up, Frederick? How are you? What's up, Elizabeth? Good to see you. What's up, Wary Pirates? My name is Ron, but I appreciate you. Rob is my evil twin. He doesn't do this show often. What's up, Farhad? Howdy, howdy. Farhad, are you the same Farhad who gave me the lovely vase? And if you're not, I apologize, but there was another gentleman named Farhead. It's not the most common name in the world, who gave me a vase in, Oh, you are? Great. Well, thank you so much for that. My fiance loves it, and that was very kind of you. And please give my regards to the missus as well. It was lovely meeting you guys in Fort Worth. That was such a cool venue, huh? God, that was such a cool venue. Main at Southside. If you live in the Fort Worth area, check it out. What's up, Edwin? Good to see you. What's up, Jim? I don't know. Is the U.S. Army being sent to the Mexican or the Venezuelan border? I don't know if something's breaking right there, but I'm not, I don't, yeah. If that's something breaking this morning, I haven't heard of it yet. Oh, Vimana Boy, UFO story. Oh, geesh. You know I love a good UFO story. You got to tweet that to me. It's harder for me to get something in the chat. Please tweet that to me at Ron Placone, and we will for sure cover that tomorrow. Yeah, please send that UFO art. You know I geek out about that stuff. So that's going to be Thursday's thing. We're going to have Ron Geeks Out over... Dallas and Fort Worth have severe... Holy shit, I didn't know that. Farhead, are you okay? Snork just said that Dallas and Fort Worth are having some flooding. Are you okay? Let me know that you're okay. I should reach out to some of my friends there. Geesh, I didn't know that. All right, there's some breaking news that I haven't heard of. What's up, Alfonso? What's up, Mike? What's up, Snork? We are past 30, so yeah, we officially began. What are you gonna do? It's Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. You guys sent me some stuff. We're gonna get to some of it. The UFO stuff we're not gonna get to today, unfortunately, because here's why. I got a few stories planned for today. Then we're gonna take a break. And guess what's happening at 11:30? At 11:30, I'm going to be on live with the legendary Peter Douche. Peter Dow is apparently changing his tune a little bit. And Peter Douche has some things to say about it. Peter Dow was the Clinton strategist who now is Bernie sympathetic. Now, if you know the article that I'm referencing, he didn't endorse Bernie. But he's now kind of showing some love to Bernie, and he's taking a lot of heat for it because he was the Camp Hillary guy. So Peter Douche and I are going to talk about it. I don't know how Peter Douche feels about it. Peter Douche might be very angry about this, or maybe Peter Douche is also having a change of heart himself. I don't know. We're going to find out. I have no idea how Peter Douche is going to feel about this. But we reached out to the Embassy Suites, and we do have Peter Douche, who is going to be here. Bernie sympathetic. Yeah, Melissa, that's what they're calling it. Because he didn't endorse Bernie. He didn't go that far. But he's, kind of singing some nice praises for Bernie. And he has been taking heat for it. I mean, I've seen some stuff on Twitter. I don't know if the guy is sincere or not. I have my hesitations as well. And you know what? That's going to be the topic today. The topic today, do you think Peter Dow is sincere? It's really tough because, and here's what I tweeted out. I tweeted out a joke about it, but I do believe people can change. I really do. I also believe that there is nothing less progressive and more toxic than not letting people change. I think that's a Buddhist principle, actually, but it's just kind of a life principle that it's incredibly toxic to not let people evolve and change. So, I think that if Peter Dow is genuinely changing, it's fair to let him change. The other side of this, I think it's fair to say you got to proceed with caution with this guy. I mean, maybe he's saying these things because he's not getting paid by the opposition at the moment. Let's keep in mind, he was being paid by the Clinton campaign. And he has said some incredibly divisive things over the past few years. And now, seeing him change his tune a little bit and seeing the Hillary camp turn on him, it's almost like seeing Frankenstein turn on Victor. So I guess that's where I'm at on it. I'm not going to say for sure that he hasn't changed because I don't know. I'm not inside the guy's brain. And I do think it's toxic to not let people change. But, I don't think it's totally off the mark or unfair to say, this guy kind of has a bit of an opportunist vibe about him, so I don't know if I would take it seriously. And I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a tough one. It is a tough one because I know people can... Chris is not convinced. Chris says Peter is a shill, period. Well, then, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you because I don't think it's fair to be totally definitive one way or another, but who is he shilling for in this, for instance? Who's paying him right now? And maybe somebody is, I don't know, but I'm saying, like, right now, the one thing that makes me not convinced, or one of the things that not makes me convinced one way or another is, well, what incentive does he have to completely turn on what he's built? And maybe there's an answer to that question. I don't know. I'm just posing the question because I don't know the answer to it right now. He's shilling for the Stop Burning camp. Not real. I mean, not according to the Last Nation article he put out. And again, I mean, I'm not convinced by him either. Like, I'm not defending the guy or saying the guy's sincere. I am saying I don't know, and I do think it's toxic to not let people change. So if this is a sincere change, it's a good thing to let someone change. However, as Brian points out, his lack of credibility is kind of a very glaring reality. Frederick says he's a double agent. So what do you mean by that exactly? Like what do you mean by double agent? Slow News Day, he's got books to sell and mortgages on 6 homes, Ron. Dude's got a pander. I think that's possible. I think he does know where the pulse of public opinion is, and he's pandering to that. But as far as who specifically is paying him, I don't have the answer to that. Great White Shark, anywhere the wind blows doesn't really matter to me. You don't want me to try to do a Freddie Mercury right now. It would not be good for anyone involved. My pipes are very adequate. Which, by the way, Slow News Day, did you publish that clip yet? Slow News Day, who I saw in the chat, did a clip of we did an interview together after our house show this past Friday in Boulder Creek, California. Which, by the way, I had an amazing time at. I had so much fun at that house show. I will come do it again anytime. I know I told you that already, but I will come do it again anytime. That venue was incredible. Technically, it wasn't a house, but it was a house show because someone lived there. But anyway, it's this post office that got converted into a recording studio / living space, and it is as cool as it sounds. And but anyway, after the house show, we did an interview. Me and Slow News Day. The guitars broke out. Someone broke out the guitars. And we did an impromptu song that we made up on the top of our heads. Barry brought out the guitars, and we made up a song on the spot. And I thought for being made up on the spot, it turned out, yeah, it was pretty okay. Yeah, it's called Stand on Something, Stand for Nothing. And I hope you guys like it. I'm going to be posting some of the footage over on my channel, and it's also going to be on Slow News Day's channel as well. Check out that show. Yes, someone did film it. It will be up soon, and I'm going to make a house show segment on my channel, and there's also going to be something on Slow News Day's channel. So make sure you check out that tune. Change could be a good thing or a bad thing. That's opinion. So is this change a good one? Matthew, I would say if it's sincere, it is a good one, certainly. Whether it's sincere or not, I don't think we know. Some of you are convinced it's not, which I can't blame you for feeling that way. I really can't. But, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. However, this guy has been pretty caustic over the past 3 years. Frederick says he's an establishment operative. If the Hillary camp attacks someone, it makes them look good to progressives. Well, right now, he's being attacked by the Hillary camp. So let's see. Yeah, a lot of you guys aren't convinced. Melissa says maybe he sees the polls on the wall. That's possible. Maybe he sees where public opinion is. Maybe he sees where the opportunities are and he's hoping for a gig. I think that's possible. I don't think it's impossible that he's sincere. But either way, I'm excited to hear what Peter Douche has to say about it. Because Peter Douche is going to be weighing in. So we'll see what Peter Douche says. And I would say proceed with a lot of caution. I did read the Nation piece. And I'm certainly not convinced it's a genuine change. I can't say 100% for sure that it's not. I do think it's toxic to not let people change. So, I'm kind of operating out of that lens. I'm not convinced, but I'm not going to say it's for sure BS either. So, I think that's an okay way to go about it. All right. And hey, for those of you that are convinced, if it turns out to be BS, please have your told you so moment. Seriously, call me out for it. Be like, Ron, I know you think it's toxic to not let people change, so you took the diplomacy route this time around. But man, you were fucking wrong. He's working for Biden now, Ron. He's Biden's chair. See? And who knows? He might end up working for Biden. I don't know. But if he does, make me eat crow. Is that the right use of that? I think it is. Right? I don't know. Is that the right use of that phrase? Let me ask you guys before we go to the first article. Did I use that phrase right? I might not. It's not a phrase people use all the time anymore. I might have fucked it up. Melissa says yes. All right. Appreciate it. All right. So let's see. We got some articles to talk about, and then we're going to dismount early so that I can get ready for Peter Douche at 11:30, and I hope you all will tune into that. All right. Here's some shitty news from around the world. Rotten eggs, e-waste from Europe poisons Ghana's food chain. Toxins from old computers, fridges, and other electronic goods are polluting chicken eggs in an area where 80,000 people live. Yuck. Some of the most hazardous chemicals on Earth are entering the food chain in Ghana from illegally disposed electronic waste coming from Europe. According to a new report by two environmental groups tracking the disposal of e-waste, chicken eggs from the slum in Ghana's capital, Accra, where residents break up waste to recover metals, contain dangerous levels of dioxins and PCBs, along with other harmful substances. Researchers for the two groups analyzed eggs laid by the free-range chickens that forage. Wow, okay. The analysis revealed that an adult eating just a single egg in this scrapyard and slum would exceed the European Food Safety Authority limits on chlorinated dioxins 220 times over. 220 times! Other toxic chemicals were present in similarly worrying concentrations, including PCBs and other compounds. Dioxins in particular are highly damaging even in small concentrations. Now, the report has underlined again the problems in regulating the transfer of toxic waste materials from Europe to African countries, including Ghana, Tanzania, and Nigeria, leading to calls for tougher hazardous waste regulation enforcement under the current Stockholm Convention. And this is not an uncommon story. And we not only see this all around the world, we also see this domestically in the United States, where places of more means and wealthier places literally dump on poorer places. Literally. In fact, it was super literal. Recently, in Alabama, they got stuck with a bunch of shit from New York City. Literal shit. Literal human shit. We covered that story when it happened on this show. Literal human shit in Alabama. Just stuck there from New York City. They needed somewhere to put their shit. Literally. They just put it in Alabama. It got stuck on a train. And it smelled to high heaven. And you wonder why some places in the South are a little off-put by the coast. Wonder why. So that happened. And now you see something like this happen. That, Europeans are putting their waste there. And this is happening to their food supply. And there are not tough enough protections against something like this. So I guess we'll see how all this unfolds. But in the meantime, I guess Ghana's facing a huge issue with their food supply. Let's see if it has. So it doesn't really say what exactly they're going to do about this as far as the food supply in the short run. But here's what it says at the end. Activists have been calling for stricter enforcement of rules governing the transfer of waste containing toxic chemicals to prevent it ending up in countries without the infrastructure to dispose of it safely. And here's the final quote. African countries should not be used as an e-waste dumping ground anymore, as we do not have the technological capacity to deal with waste containing high levels of persistent organic pollutants. All right. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so Steve King. Steve King was trending on the Twitter this morning because he compared himself to Jesus. Steve King was the guy that said a bunch of racist stuff. He's comparing this to Jesus because we all know it's in the Bible. Jesus said, I say unto you, my disciples, I can't be racist. I have a black friend. That's from the book Mel, chapter 1, verse 1. That's what that's from. All right, so let's see the mental gymnastics Steve King did here. Steve King says he understands how Jesus Christ felt after months of criticism in the House. U.S. Representative Steve King said that after facing months of criticism for comments in the New York Times about white supremacy and nationalism, he better understands the persecution Jesus Christ felt. The 4th District representative made the comments in response to a question from the Reverend Pinky Person. That's a poor name, isn't it? Of the Faith in Christ Fellowship. That's a fake name. That's gotta be. Pinky Person. I think this person was wanted on some crazy crime, so they just changed their name to Pinky Person, went under the radar, and now they're a reverend somewhere. I don't actually think that. Who told King during a town hall Tuesday in Cherokee that she was concerned that Christianity is really being persecuted. When I have to step down to the floor, blah, 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 blah. We just passed through Easter and Christ's Passion, and I have better insight into what he went through for us, partly because of that experience. All right. King's accusers were fellow members of the U.S. House of Representatives who took action condemning King after the New York Times published an article quoting him saying, white nationalists, white supremacists, Western civilization, how did that language become offensive? Gee, I have no idea. I see the comparison Steve King's making. I totally see it. We all know that was in the Bible. I say unto you, it's okay for me to use the N-word when I'm drunk and at parties. Jesus said that, right? Jesus said that. That was the last thing he said when he was being crucified and he was up on that cross. The last thing he said was, I'm not racist and Mel Gibson's a decent actor. That's the last thing he said. Those are all Jesus quotes. White supremacists, why is that a bad thing? Jesus, he said that. That's awesome. People like Steve King, not only do they accept the fact that Jesus was definitely not white, They also think he'd be down with white supremacist views. That's pretty good. I know the persecution. Poor Steve. Steve's got it rough. King is a member of the Roman Catholic Church. They got a great reputation, especially as of recent. He said he counts on his faith to get through difficulties in his role. In our staff, we've made sure we have solid, faithful people in Washington and here in the district for all that I've been through. And it seems even strange for me to say it, but I am at a certain peace, and it's been because of a lot of prayers for me. Prayers, the thing that's going to end school shootings. Prayers. Those things. All right, Steve King. Did we see enough? Was this enough from this guy? People like him are still in politics. Some days we wake up and we're like, I thought we got over this shit by 2008. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. There's still this fringe religious right nonsense going on. And Steve King, right on. The Bible according to Steve King. Sounds like an interesting book that would be really fucking boring. All right. So let's move on to a little more news. Obviously, the show is called Get Your News On with Ron. All right. New York targets 1.5 of renewables with latest solicitation. All right, so here's the brief. New York on Tuesday announced its third annual solicitation for large-scale renewable energy projects under the state's clean energy standard. Officials say it will support 1.5. I'm guessing is that milliwatts, or I'm not sure what that measurement means, of green electricity each year. The procurement will help to meet a 70% renewable standard by 2030 under New York's Green New Deal and will support 1,000 jobs in the state. In the past 2 years, the Empire State has awarded $2.9 billion in contracts to land-based wind and solar projects. All right. So New York continues to procure large-scale renewable resources on an annual basis, accelerating the state's progress on aggressive climate goals for the power sector. The latest solicitation is expected to net sufficient resources to power 200,000 homes and spur over $1 billion in private investment. For the third consecutive year, New York is continuing to lead by example, Governor Andrew Cuomo said in a statement. Now, Andrew Cuomo's cool with fracking, so I'm a little hesitant here. In the last 2 years, projects tapped under the annual procurement have helped create $7 billion in direct investment in the clean energy sector. All right. In addition, renewable energy prices are falling to the benefit of consumers. According to Cuomo's office, recently awarded bid prices under the Clean Energy Standard Program are about 23% lower than those awarded just 2 years ago. The Clean Energy Standard procurements already awarded will generate enough renewable energy to power the 4 largest upstate cities while bringing good-paying jobs and economic benefits to local host communities, Martin said. Resource eligibility submissions are due May 24th, with applications for qualification packages due June 13th. Interesting. All right. So this definitely looks like good news, and I'm assuming it is good news. When you see someone like Andrew Cuomo attached to it, that raises eyebrows because he is not good on environmental issues. But hopefully this is a good step. Hopefully the groups affiliated with this are really doing the good work. And this is a genuine thing because the numbers are looking very good. A 70% renewable standard by 2030. And this will support 1,000 jobs in the state. And I have a feeling that number is going to go up, not down. I have a feeling if we really invest in renewable energy and we really invest in a Green New Deal, the estimated number of jobs will continue to climb. Because when you build up a new industry and a new way of doing things, I mean, that's just the way it works. When you start building something, and you can tell I'm not a business person, and I don't pretend to be, but when you start building a new endeavor and a new investment in a new infrastructure, you realize needs as you go on. You realize, it's just like building a show. Hey, I'm going to start this show. Oh, I've grown a little bit. I need an editor. Oh, I've grown a little bit. I need someone to book the guest. Oh, I've grown a little bit. I need, whatever it may be. A new camera. I need a camera person. I need a lighting person. Those are all things I need. I can't afford them yet, But those are all things I need. Those are all things I want to have. So when you start an endeavor, your needs expand, not decrease. So when you're just doing more of the same, drill, baby, drill, you know that those jobs are temporary, they're going to go away, and they're dangerous jobs, and they're not great jobs, and they don't help out a local economy in the long run because of the environmental cost. They hurt a local community. We've seen that time and time again. But when you invest in green energy, in new energy, in solar, the needs are going to expand because we're reinventing the wheel as far as how we do energy infrastructure. So they're saying it's going to bring 1,000 jobs. I bet it'll bring more than that. Empire State has awarded $2.9 billion in contracts to 46 land-based wind and solar projects. So this looks like a good thing. The only kind of things you need to worry about is how's Andrew Cuomo going to potentially poison this? Hopefully he's actually doing the right thing. And whenever you see, the privatization creeping in, you have to question, well, what's actually going on? But overall, this looks like a good thing with a noble goal. And hopefully this continues. All right. So we have a follow-up on a story from yesterday, and then I'm going to go to the chat. Yesterday, we talked about a guy in New Mexico who had an armed militia at the border. He had this militia at the border. He had a bunch of guns. He got arrested for something unrelated, by the way. He didn't get arrested because of this militia, but what he was doing was he was brutalizing families trying to cross the border. He would capture these families. I'd imagine he held them at gunpoint or whatever he had to do to contain them, and then he would call Border Patrol. Border Patrol said, hey, we don't advise anyone does this, but obviously they were cool with it because they showed up when he called. So this is what he was doing. A 69-year-old man, by the way, 69 years old, decides that's how he's going to spend his time. Golden years. I'm going to spend my time brutalizing people trying to come to this country because they're fleeing horrible circumstances. They're seeking asylum. So anyway, that guy, Larry Hopkins, we did a story on him yesterday. Here's an update on what happened to him since he's been arrested and taken into custody. Armed border militia leader Larry Hopkins attacked in jail. The leader, of an armed group that spent the past 2 months detaining migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border, drawing condemnation from civil liberties advocates, has been hospitalized after he was attacked in jail, his attorney said. Larry Hopkins was in the hospital with broken ribs after being attacked on Tuesday at the Dona Ana County Detention Center in Las Cruces in southern New Mexico. A spokeswoman for the Dona Ana County Center did not respond to a request for comment on Wednesday. The attack occurred the same day Hopkins United Constitutional Patriots Group abandoned its border camp near Sunland Park, New Mexico, where they had spent 2 months detaining thousands of illegal migrants. The ACLU last week accused Hopkins' group of being a fascist white nationalist militia illegally detaining and kidnapping Central American families seeking asylum. This guy is very high profile, so if he gets into jail and is immediately attacked after his first hearing just a few days in there, can Dona Ana County Correctional protect high-profile defendants? O'Connell asked. O'Connell said he did not know why Hopkins had been targeted. Gee, I wonder why. But a spokesman for his UCP parliamentary group said he believed it was because of his activity at the border. No shit. They put him in a pod cell with a group of people, and they had just got done watching the article about the ACLU writing about him being racist, and as a result of that, he was attacked. All right. So that's what's happening to this guy so far in jail. And, sometimes you get what you put out into the world, and that's what's happening to this guy. This guy decided to surround himself with a cesspool of violence and negativity, detaining people at the border. He had no authority to do so. He had no business doing so. And he's probably retired. This is, how I want to spend my golden years? I want to spend my golden years finally getting fluent in Italian, catching up on a bunch of reading, writing, still doing stand-up, as long as I'm physically able to. Traveling. Maybe retiring somewhere exotic. Maybe retiring in Italy if I'm able to. Because I want to get fluent at that language. I'm conversational in it. I'm not fluent. I want to get fluent in it before I die. And I honestly don't know if I'll have time until I reach my golden years. That's what I want to do with my. That's among the list of things I want to do with my golden years. This guy decided to sit at a border and detain people who are seeking refuge and who are fleeing horrible situations where they're suffering as a result of our policies, as a result of climate change. That's why they're suffering. They're fleeing those situations, coming to the United States for refuge and for asylum, and then they're treated this way by this guy who has no business doing it. And then Border Patrol is okay with it because they show up when he calls. They're saying, well, we don't endorse this, but, we're fine with it because we show up when he calls. That's what this guy is putting out into the world. That's the type of negativity this guy is putting out into the world. And he got some of it back. I don't have an ounce of sympathy for this guy. None whatsoever. So, I think that's a life lesson. If you want to put out evil and violence and negativity into the world, you're bound to get it back. And that's what happened to this guy. So I guess the question I'll ask is I'm going to go to the chat. Does anyone feel bad for him? Zuggy, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Just play GOP Jesus by Friend Dog to understand. Another Zuggy comment. Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Again, Zuggy, you have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to observe your own tradition. Jesus to the original Republicans. That's funny. Which, by the way, I'll say this. Our song for the day, because of this topic and because of the Steve King topic, our song for the day that I'll throw out there, Bad Religion, American Jesus. Bad Religion, American Jesus. That seems appropriate, right, for today? Which, that song is a little bit, it has some kind of funny lines in it, but it's a serious song. Okay, and it doesn't look like anyone feels bad for this guy. Yeah, none of you guys feel bad for him. George says, I don't know when my golden years will be, but I'm not waiting to find out. They say do what you love and you never work another day in your life. So my friend Kevin Hyder had this joke, and I love this joke, and I'm giving him credit, but Kevin Hyder's the comedian. Look him up on Twitter and Facebook. But he had this joke. They say if you do what you love, you'll never work another day in your life. But what they don't tell you is you can starve to death while masturbating. That's a funny joke. It's a pretty good joke. Kevin Hyder, that's the comedian. Let's see. Garden Gnome, I'm cooler than Jesus. Name that song reference. I don't know. Is that a reference to what John Lennon said? I don't know. You lost me. It's not coming to me. Now, I hope you tell me. I'm going to be bummed out if I don't know. You know me in song references. I need to know. You can like a job. You can't love it. I think you can love it. Andrew, I feel bad for me. I'm 35. I might already be on the clearance shelf and not know it. That's true for anybody, no matter how old they are. Totally. I just kind of, and I used to have I still have a big phobia about aging. I'm weird about aging. I'm really neurotic about it. But I've gotten a little better to the point where I'm like, it's a number. It's a number, and I'm just going to keep doing me. And I'm going to keep hoping that each year is better than the next. I try to have that perspective. The best year of my life is next year. The best year of my life is the year after that. You get the idea. Melissa, Ron, off topic, but my state rep is looking into what's going on with municipal internet in Vermont after I asked her about it the other day. That's fucking awesome, Melissa. That is awesome. I'm so thrilled to hear that, and thank you for doing that, and please keep me posted on the progress for that. Please, that's awesome. Let's see. Frozen Wolf says, I hope the same thing happens to Joe Arpaio. Garden Gnome, cooler than Jesus, my life with the Thrill Kill cult. I'm sure you would have been crushed if I hadn't told you. Yes, I would have been. I would have wondered. I certainly would have wondered. Let's see. Have to live in the moment, said Susan. Amen. Capitalism destroys youth. I feel 80 some days and I'm a millennial. Like the Rick and Morty shirt, says Jonna. Thank you very much. Chris Walker, I really like the song Jesus Christ by Woody Guthrie. Always a solid shout out. Angela, I live in Philly, headquarters of Comcast. I don't think municipal broadband could ever happen here. We got to keep fighting for it, though. There's a lot of places that they thought it would never happen where it is. You wouldn't think that some of these towns of 7,000 people would ever be able to pull it off, but they've been able to. So, yeah, I know that it being Comcast capital, that's pretty rough, but, we got to try. Marcus, listening to your show on my way to school. Any advice for class today, Ron? What class is it? My advice for class is always, coffee up, but not so much that you're jittery. Do your due diligence, take good notes, pay attention. Make sure your insights are exactly that, insightful. Sometimes quality is over quantity. If it's a more discussion-oriented class, I don't know what class it is, but if it's a more discussion-oriented class, which were the classes that I taught and were participated in, quality over quantity as far as how often you participate. There's some people in class, they talk every opportunity they get. They always share their insights. Even if they don't have much to share, that's annoying. Don't be that person. Be the person where they're like, whoa, that was good. Yeah. English. All right, so there you go. I hope you've done your reading ahead of time. If you didn't do your reading, and by the way, I can tell you this. As somebody who has taught at the college level before, if you didn't do your reading ahead of time, we know. I promise you, we know. I'm not going to do my reading, but I can bullshit around this. We know. Trust me. We know. When I was in grad school, I thought I was pulling something over professors at times. I was like, I bet I didn't really read this, but I can bullshit through this. I just skimmed it. I can bullshit through it. They knew. Most of the time I did my reading. Every now and again, I wouldn't read everything. Most of the time I was good about doing my reading because that was the fun part. I'm a geek. I think sometimes people tell me that. Sometimes people are like, Ron, you're such a geek. I'm like, yeah. Like, did I ever deny? Is that an insult? Like, I don't, like, I totally own that. Of course I am. But anyway, we know. Trust me. I now realize that my professors, they were never fooled. They were never, ever fooled. Given any thought to what office you will seek in 2020, asked Suggy, I will never run for office. That is not something I will ever do, because to run for office, you have to have a little bit of reverence for our system, and I do not. No offense to people who do run for office. Some folks got to do it, but I am not cut out for that. That's meant for someone else to do, not me. Ron, I'm surprised that none of the California alternative media folks are talking about Nancy Pelosi's 2020 primary challenger. His name is Shahid Buttar. Tweet me something and we'll talk about it. Tweet me something, we'll totally talk about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'd vote for you. Thank you, Zuggy. I appreciate that very, very much. And I appreciate I appreciate the support in that regard, but it's not for me. It's not something I'm meant to do. A comedian won the presidency in Ukraine. I know. How crazy is that? How much acid can you do and be president, asked George. You got to ask another George W. Bush. He'd be able to tell you. Ron, Graham told me you were going to try to come to Burlington, Vermont. We're not going to be there on the June tour, and there's a reason for that, unfortunately. But we are going to be on the East Coast in June, which, by the way, I guess I'll do tour dates. Guys, I'm on the road. All right, first of all, we're going to have to reschedule Salt Lake City and Boise. I'm really sorry about that. But there was a scheduling conflict and a few other issues. Graham and myself are not coming to Salt Lake City and Boise. So if you got tickets for those shows, please get your refund. We are very sorry. We are working on rescheduling it. And yeah, it sucks. But May 1st, I'm going to be in Indianapolis. Don't wait. Get your tickets. May 1st, Indianapolis. I'm going to be there. Tickets at ronplagone.com. June, Graham Elwood and I are coming to the East Coast. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia for 2 nights, New Haven, Connecticut, New York City, Boston, Massachusetts. Get your tickets now at ronplagone.com. That is our entire East Coast tour. We're not adding any dates. We're going to try to come to other regions, but right now that's all we're doing on the East Coast for right now. So please get your tickets. If you're thinking about doing a Boston trip or a New York trip, do it. It's going to be fun. Grab those tickets at ronplagone.com. And July 27th, we're coming back to Vegas, baby. We're going to be in Vegas for the Progressive Comedy Tour. We'll be announcing more dates coming up here in the next few months. All right. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. I want to do more streams. I want to have more guests, but I need your support to be able to do that. Patreon.com/RonPlacone. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive perks. You get Lucy's dialogues. You get a bunch of stand-up that's not released to the public. And that's all for a Give What You Can level. If you have an extra $1 a month, please consider throwing it my way. If you don't, I totally understand. Not a problem. I get it. Please like and share these videos. Tell your friends. Put the ads on autoplay. And don't just do that for me. Do that to all the content creators you like on YouTube, because that helps sustain our channels. So just do it. Just put it on autoplay. Just put it on auto so they just go. So the full ads go. So if the full ads don't go, the creator you're watching does not get compensated. You know the drill. You guys are awesome. At 11:30 p.m. Pacific time, that's in approximately 1 hour, 11:30 Pacific time, 2:30 Eastern time, I'm going to be back on this channel with Peter Douche, and we're going to be talking about the whole Peter Dow thing. We're going to see what he has to say about that. I don't know what he's going to say. Maybe he likes Bernie now. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's going to double down on radical centrism, neoliberalism. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. We'll be back at 11:30. I'll see some of you then. The rest of you, I will see tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll be back on the stream for Get Your News On with Ron. Same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, right here on YouTube. And I'll see some of you in an hour. I'll see some of you tomorrow. This has been Get Your News On with Ron. The news has been gotten. Peace.